Yo, what's up, everybody? So, it's finally time for me to get the chance to talk about Pet Cemetery 2019, the remake. Man, going into this movie, I actually thought I was gonna hate it. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't gonna bullshit y'all. Because after that fucking trailer they showed, the second trailer, if anybody hasn't seen it by now, which I'm sure they have, if you haven't, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. But they released a huge spoiler in the trailer, which made a lot of the fans of this movie, well, potential fans of this remake, kind of split in hairs, kind of bipolar audience for this film because half hates it, half thinks it's awesome, the other half still trying to figure it out. But at first, I was one of them people. I was like, as soon as I seen that spoiler, I said, fuck this movie, it's going to suck, it's going to be stupid as hell. Then I actually went and seen it. I thought it was fucking great. I mean, is it better than the original? Hell no. Not even fucking close, Jack. It's nothing will ever touch the 1989 classic Pet Cemetery. That damn rod, yeah, that rod right there, that damn record trucks come down there and they killed that little tiger. They'll stay out that damn rod. There's an interesting story about that rod. I'll take you down there sometime and tell you about it. But anyways, yeah, there was a lot of shit that people can grasp on about the remake that they could say, well, this is nothing like the book. This is nothing like the original movie. Well, here's the thing. Don't compare the movie to the book because with the book, you got so much more leeway. And you got a lot more time to put shit in and subtle little nuances and shit like that. You got a lot more liberty to take with a book. With a movie, you only got like an hour and 30-minute runtime, which is what this one got, I think. It's about an hour, maybe 30, 40 minutes. There's only so much you can fit into a fucking movie. That's why I hate it when people are like, oh, that's nothing like the fucking book. Well, motherfucker, go read the goddamn book, okay? Shut the hell up. Because, yes, they should have took source material from, and they do take a lot of source material from the book in this one. But no, it's not going to be exactly like it. So, what are my thoughts about it? Well, the basic plot of Pet Cemetery is basically the same thing. A small family moves to a country little house, in the middle of the countryside. And there's an ancient Indian burial ground not far from the property line, all the way back to the end of the property line, actually. And apparently it can bring things back to life once buried there. The thing is, they don't come back the same way. So, you got a whole new cast of people playing these classic characters from the 1989 original. And right away, I can say that are they better than the characters, or they portrayed better than the characters from that movie? And I'm not going to be comparing it constantly throughout this review. I'm just saying for basis. No, they're not. They're not ever going to be better than the ones from the original movie because we all grew, well, at least I grew up with it. I have that nostalgia factor with this shit. So a lot of other people do too. It's hard to replace them kind of characters when you're so used to seeing them played by the people you grew up with. So, but the guy that got to play Lewis Creed, I like. Jason Clarke does a damn good job. He's pretty good at this. Does he show as much emotion as Midcap from the original? No, not really. That's the one thing that is lacking is emotion from these characters. Like they don't show a lot of emotion. I mean, they're good. They do a good job of what they're asked to do, but they could have shown more emotion towards the third act than what they do. The woman playing Rachel, I buy it. I buy her playing this version of Rachel in the new movie. She's pretty decent. I don't mind her at all. Actually, reminds me quite a bit of the Rachel from the first movie. But Lewis, I don't know. It's just they got this whole thing in the movie where he's a scientific type, and he's a more rational person, so he doesn't believe in the whole heaven and hell thing or afterlife. And his wife is more spiritual. She has a more grounded, well, not really. I guess Lewis is more grounded in reality, and she's more of a what if kind of person. What happens after we pass on? That's the ultimate theme of this movie. Is like, what happens to you after death? Is there life after death? Basically. And then you have Judd Crandall, played by John Lithgow. Now, this was one of the big things about this movie that a lot of people were curious about, if they were going to love it or they were going to fucking hate it. Fred Gwynn has been dead for a long time, but dude, he put his stamp like a motherfucker on the original movie in '89 as Judd, because you just can't get any better than us. It doesn't get any better. Sometimes Dad is better. Sometimes Fred is better. Sometimes Gage is better. It's just fucking better. But John Lithgow makes the role his own. You know, he brings a little bit of the flavor of Fred to that role, but in his own way. He doesn't try to do an exact copy. And that's the thing that I like the most about this remake, is that it doesn't do exactly shot for shot or word for word, you know, beat for beat, just like the '89 original. They made it their own thing. You know, there's scenes that are took straight from that movie and done in a slightly different way, or there's lines that were used by other characters and they're now used by different characters in this. So they do a little bait and switch, you know, a little role reversal kind of thing in this. Like there's a moment where Ellie is walking to PetSematary, and in the original you had her mom say, well, the name is spelt wrong, but that's what it says. Well, in this one, Ellie says that. And I like the relationship between Ellie and Judd. It feels genuine. It feels real. It feels real sweet, you know, real adorable. They got a good little adorable dynamic between Ellie and Judd in this. I do like that, you know. The chemistry between Ellie and Judd is real sweet, real adorable. Gage hasn't changed much. Pretty much the kid that got to play Gage is good. He doesn't look exactly like the Gage from the first movie, but he plays that part just as good as him, I would say. I didn't mind it at all, you know. I actually like this Gage a little better. Because he's a little older than the Gage that was in the first film, so I guess he's capable of more emotion and more lines of dialogue, so that was a good thing. Now, Church, this is one of the big ones, just like with Judd. You know, Church is very important, very vital part of the first movie, and in the book, I guess. I've never read the book, but everybody fucking compares the goddamn book to these shit, so Church, it's pretty damn cool in this. I actually like Church quite a bit. I liked his look. I liked the breed of cat they got to play in this. The guy that kind of looks like a fucking tiger to me. And, you know, first we're introduced to the lovable, adorable, cute little kitty that is Church, you know, at the beginning of the movie. And towards the second and third act, after he's been run over in the middle of that damn rod, you got Zombie Church. And Zombie Church is fucking terrifying. That little fucker is creepy as shit. So just a stare he can give to the camera, you know, just a stare he gives to Lewis and different characters in the movie is just eerie as shit, you know, and he's always going, he's always hissing and shit like a goddamn vampire. So Church is pretty kick-ass in this, I gotta say. Now you also have Pascal, which, you know, some people probably didn't like the fact that they got a black actor to play Pascal in this, and I didn't care at all. That didn't matter to me. Skin don't mean shit to me as far as they do the character justice. Just like in Halloween 2, the nurse, the head nurse in Halloween 2, the black woman, what the fuck was her name? Mrs. Alves, the character's name anyways. She was written to be performed by a 55-year-old white woman. Well, they chose an African-American to play her, and she did a damn good job at it. Just like in this, you have a black guy playing Pascal, and he does basically what you're asked of Pascal to do. Just lay there with your fucking brain hanging out in gory fashion, in a horrific gory fashion, and just die on a bed. And then you periodically show up throughout the movie warning Louis Creed that the barrier must not be crossed, Louis. The ground is sour, sour, sour. You know, that's basically what he does in this. And for that purpose, he's pretty damn cool. I don't mind Pascal at all. So he gets my seal of approval as being pretty damn wicked in this. The gore effects for his brain injury and shit. He got hit by a car in this, and originally was hit by a truck, but who gives a shit? It's apples and oranges, motherfucker. Who really gives a fuck at the end of the day? So let's see. For my positives, it's going to be, this movie has great suspense. It builds up tension really well, especially towards the second and third act, you know. It does a damn good job of that, keeping a creepy, eerie vibe throughout the entire movie, and especially after the big twist happens and shit, and just got this eerie, dreaded mood, depressing dread that Hereditary, for me, didn't do. Everybody said that movie's so dreadful and eerie and shit. No, fuck that. That movie sucks. This one has a lot more dread and a lot more suspense and creepiness. You know, the atmosphere of this was pretty damn cool. The mood and atmosphere, I'm not trying to rip off Dave McRae. I'm just saying it does nail the fuck out of mood and atmosphere in this movie. Now, gore and effects, like I said, Pascal looks pretty damn creepy. He looks eerie as shit. Like when they first bring him into the ER and Lewis is trying to treat him and revive him, you see his brain and shit is basically hanging out of his fucking skull, and the blood and the way they set the prosthetic on the side of his face and the detail, the attention to detail, the articulation of that horrific accident that happened to him, pretty damn awesome. I love that. I love good attention to detail and good prosthetics. And they only use a little CGI in this, and still looks pretty damn great. Now, set designs, the Creed house and Judd's house, still look pretty damn cool. I mean, Creed's house was more like on the outside, a barn kind of look. It's an old country house. I really like that they went with that. And even Judd's house, it doesn't look as iconic as the Judd's first house from the first movie, but still pretty damn cool, up-to-date version. And the inside looks like an old wartime house that you would see in the fucking 80s. The dude has like 4 or 5 fucking house phones, one on the wall, one on his fucking couch, and it does look like a house where that guy would live. So the set design is pretty damn cool in this. I'd give that an A for effort, man, definitely. And ultimately, my biggest positive for this is going to be not only the atmosphere and the wooded areas that they chose for PetSematary, where they buried their cat, and I'll get into this at the end of it, spoiler. But where they buried Church at, and the burial ground they chose, and the swampy areas surrounding it, the wooded areas throughout the whole film are fucking beautiful. I love the woods in this. The woods look great. They're creepy, eerie, dark, menacing, and sinister. I love the shit out of it. And Judd. John Lithgow, like I said, he nailed the fuck out of the character of Judd. I mean, is he better than Fred Gwynn? Fuck no. Never. Nobody will ever touch him. But he did a damn good job on this movie by itself. As a standalone movie, and if you don't compare it to the original, and you don't compare it to the fucking novel, Judd is performed perfectly by John Lithgow. Other than the fact we don't get that accent. We don't get that classic Fred Gwynn accent. The barrier beyond hell, beyond PetSematary, that's where we're going, Lois. The soul of a man's heart is stonier, Lois. Man grows what he can and intends to. Because what you buy is what you own. What you own always comes home to you. So, you can't get any better than fucking Fred Gwynn. But I still love John as Judd in this. Judd Crandall is pretty damn great in this. Now, negatives, like I said, it's just a few things. Lack of emotion after the chosen child that dies in it. And I say chosen because some of you might not have seen this movie yet. You don't know the big twist if you haven't seen the trailer. After their child dies, it gets hit by this big-ass fucking massive semi-truck. You get a little bit of emotion from Lewis and Rachel, but not as heartbreaking and heart-wrenching as it was in the first movie. And I have to compare it to that because that's the only person you can do. The reaction and fucking just devastatingly heartbreaking reaction of Lewis from the 1989 film where he's in the middle of the road after it just happened. He's like, no! I can't do it like he did, but like it's fucking heartbreaking. It scares the fuck, it rips your heart out when you see that shit. This one, it's just they do the slow-mo reaction and the mom breaks down in the middle of the road and the dad's like hurtling over to his daughter. Fuck it, okay? It's the fucking daughter that dies in this. I'm tired of being coy with this shit. They did a bait and switch, alright? Instead of fucking Gage dying in this, it's Ellie, alright? Fucking deal with it. Yeah, so Ellie gets hit by the fucking truck. Spoiler alert, everybody. Yeah, I know I waited a little too late for that. But after she dies and the reaction of them, it's not as heartbreaking and heart-wrenching as captivating as the parents from the first movie. They do this thing where after Lewis has buried Ellie and she comes back, but, she's all evil and fucked up and zombified. And other than the scene where Lewis is brushing her hair in the bathtub, giving her a bath to get all the bugs and worms and shit that were feasting on her ass in a graveyard, you see the staples that were holding her head back together where the funeral home had stapled her head together. Because her brain exploded out the back of her fucking head when the truck hit her. That part there is kind of cringe. Not cringe in a bad way, but cringe in a good way. It makes you go, ugh. Just, goddamn, that shit. Ugh. Imagine that being your own daughter, and seeing her head held together by staples. Just, whew. Wendy Madroli can, agree with me on that. But the performance of the little girl playing Ellie in the beginning of the movie, in the second half, I really enjoyed. I really liked. She was very likable. But in the third act, when she comes back as evil zombie Ellie, not so much. I didn't care for her as the zombie Ellie because it feels forced. Like Lee McCoy said on Drum Dumps, I'm not trying to rip off him or copy him. I'm just saying it does feel forced. Her performance as Zombie Ellie, she's just like always got this weird look on her face and her eyes fucking lazy as shit now. And she's like, she doesn't want me here. It's okay. I don't want her here either. And it's a really funny fucking scene where Lewis is laying in bed with his daughter and he looks creeped out as shit and he's trying his best to go to fucking sleep and she's just like asking the most random bullshit questions. And, you know, Daddy, is there life after death? Where did I come from? You know, it's supposed to be eerie and intense, but it's just comical to me. I can't help but laugh at it. The look she gives him and he's like in bed going, I wish this bitch would go to sleep. Fucking creeped out as shit because this little girl's evil and creepy as shit, and it's just her performance as Zombie Ellie is just too much. It feels too much. Like she tried way too hard to be evil and sinister. And I guess for final thoughts of the movie is going to be that, like I said at the beginning of this, was it better than the 1989 movie? No, of course not. It's never going to be. Anything's ever going to touch the original Pet Sematary, from the performances of the characters in the first film, the Judd, Lewis, Rachel, Ellie. Now, wait a minute. I go back. The Ellie in this, before she gets killed, I did like her better than the Ellie in the first movie. Because Ellie in the 89 original was annoying as fuck. I just couldn't get into her. Like, she just whined too much. She cries too much. She bitches and whines. She's just whiny and annoying as shit. Ellie in this one is a lot better. Even though she's older, I do like her a lot better. But then when she gets killed and comes back, it's just kind of fucking stupid and over-exaggerated, just way too much. They try to make her act way too hard for being, to convey a sense that she's possessed by something demonic and shit. It's just, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't buy it. But, other than there's a weird fucking ending. But the ending is fucking... I don't know how to explain the ending. I don't even know what the fuck the ending was. It just, like so many others have said, the third act of this movie feels so rushed. It feels so fucking fast-paced that by the time the ending happens and the credits roll, you're like left thinking, what the fuck? Was that it? Like, that's the end of the movie? Goddamn, I mean, back the fuck up, motherfucker. This shit just happened, and then that happened, and now all of a sudden this shit just happened, and boom, cut to black. It's like a goddamn Sopranos episode. It's like the finale of the fucking Sopranos, Somebody's going to say some shit and it cuts to black in mid-scene. The ending felt a little rushed. It felt a little fast. I wished it would have gave us a little bit more because I guess I've already spoiled the big surprise, that it was Ellie instead of Gage. And let me go back on that for a moment too, because in the scene where Ellie is about to meet her demise of the big massive pickup truck or semi, they do this thing which is pretty clever because for a minute there, I don't know if anybody else felt this way. Derek from Derek's Hard Corner, maybe you can agree with me on this. I haven't seen your review yet, but maybe you feel the same way. There's a point in the movie where it's Ellie's birthday party, and she's out in the middle of she's in the yard. They're playing hide and go seek, and Lewis is blindfolded. And she goes out in the middle of the road, and she sees Church coming down the road because Lewis dropped him off early in the movie, tried to get rid of his ass. And she walks up in the middle of the street with Church talking to him, and then at the same time, Gage is watching her do this. So they play it out very well because for a minute there, I was thinking the trailer was false. I was thinking the trailer was fucking with us because the way it looks, the truck's coming down the road, Ellie's standing there talking to Church, and Gage is slowly but surely making his way to the road. So I thought, hold up a minute. Is there a chance that maybe they're going to kill him off? Still kill him off and not the little girl? Like maybe they just fucked with our heads, but no. They play it so damn good that for a second there, you do think it's going to be Gage and maybe Ellie both. You think maybe both of them are going to get killed. And the truck's coming, and Lewis is, alerted to the fact that little kid's out in the middle of the street. He rushes out, grabs his ass before the truck gets there. But then the truck loses that fucking shit on the back of it, and the whole thing just hurls down the road and just smacks Ellie right in the fucking face. Badass scene. Great scene. Great way love the way they did that. It doesn't so much bother me now that it's Ellie instead of Gage, but I do wish, in retrospect, now it would have been him instead of her because it would have carried more weight and been more powerful if it would have been him, to see how Ellie's reaction would have been to losing her little brother. And who knows, seeing little Gage be evil in this would have been a lot better than Ellie, So I think that was a missed opportunity. And also, one of the biggest missed opportunities in this is that we don't get to see that iconic scene from the first film of Rachel's parents at the funeral with Lewis and Rachel and Ellie. And Gage is about to be buried, but his casket's sitting there in the funeral home, and Rachel's dad is the ultimate dickhead. And he has an argument with Lewis, blaming him. Where the fuck were you? Why? This is your fault, you son of a bitch. He's blaming him for everything. And then Lewis goes the fuck off and beats his father-in-law's ass and makes the casket fall over. And it's like, God damn, man, that's horrific to have that happen at your son's funeral. But it's so emotional. It's so fucking raw intensity and emotional. I would have loved to have seen that in this new movie. And you only get a glance a few times of Rachel's parents in this. Oh, and Zelda. Zelda's no big surprise. That's one of the biggest negatives I have about this. Is they force Zelda into this way too much. And when you do see her, it's like the typical, stereotypical shit of today in horror movies. We've all seen that fucking creepy-ass bitch in a horror movie where her bones are snapping and she's moving like this. And you see her in dark silhouette and shit. And there's a lot of jump scares in this that didn't really nail the point at all. It's like a jump scare would be coming and you could see it coming from a mile away. And it would happen and I'd just be like, okay. That's the one big negative I can give this. Way too many jump scares, and Zelda wasn't scary at all. Zelda from the original will give you goddamn nightmares. Zelda in this, the practical effects, the way they morphed her spine and shit, and all that shit looked cool as hell. But other than that, I didn't really care about Zelda in this at all. Just felt way too forced and shit. I gotta agree with Drum Dums on that. It did. But, I can't go without saying shout out to my good friend TJ Bowser, who is one of the guys that is running this podcast called Gore and More. And it's a lot of cool shit. You can follow him on Facebook, and I'm sure he has his own Instagram on there. I don't have the handle right now, but check out Gore and More. Go on there and like that shit and share it. And I'm also going to be doing some podcast shows with him sometime soon to help him review movies. So look forward to that shit. But yeah, TJ, you're awesome, dude. And Gore and More is badass. So go on Facebook right now and like the page and share it. And I believe they got a channel on YouTube. So if it is, go on there and like and share that shit too. And also, I have to give a special shout out to the cats of this movie. There was actually two hero cats, I guess you could call them, that were used in this movie. Leo is the cat that is 8 cats used in total in this movie, trained as church. But Leo and Tonic were the two main hero cats, I guess you could call them, screen-used cats, as it were, in this movie. Leo is the cat playing church at the beginning of the movie. Like, when you're introduced to him at the very beginning, when they go to the house, and he's the fluffy, beautiful, warm, cuddly kitty that you see throughout the first and maybe the second act. Well, no, he's dead by the second act, I think. So within the first act or so, the warm, beautiful, cuddly, warm, little lovable kitty that you see, that's Leo. And here's his Instagram. You can check him out at Church, a.k.a. Leo, on Instagram. The cat has his own fucking Instagram. Also, there's another cat, Tonic, who is the one that plays the evil, demonic zombie kitty in the second and third act. It does all the creepy hissing shit and just stunt work, I guess the cat does in this. Tonic plays that version of the cat, and you can see his Instagram right here. You can follow him on there at Church, a.k.a. Tonic. So like and share his shit and go on there and look at them. The cats are fucking celebrities, dude. Cats have their own fucking Instagram accounts. That's badass. That's awesome. And I love them in this. They play damn good as church, and they're very well-trained cats. Even though cats are independent, they're not dogs, so they are a little bit harder to work with on set, but from what the trainer said in an interview recently, they did a damn good job. They did awesome. I love them in this. And did you know this movie has actually some Easter eggs in it that some of you may have missed? There's a scene where the mom is driving down the road in busy traffic, and she's on her way back home with Gage. And if you look off to the side of the road, there's a sign that says Derry, like 20 miles away. And Derry, as we all know, is the hometown. Takes place in the movie It, Stephen King's It. So I thought that was a pretty cool nod to a few of Stephen King's other movies in this. And there's also a reference to Cujo when they're at the birthday party and the people are talking amongst each other, family and friends, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear about that fucking attack? There was a Saint Bernard that had rabies that attacked someone." You know, it's just idle conversation, but it's cool how they drop little Easter eggs throughout this movie. And there's probably a lot more. There's like 28 fucking things that you can look up if you go back and watch this. I've seen it twice, and I have still discovered all the Easter eggs, but that's like two of them right there. So, anyways, I got to get the fuck up out of here. But ultimately, I would say this movie is pretty damn unique, pretty cool in its own way, but it's never going to be better than the original. And I haven't read the book, so I can't say it's better than the book either. But who gives a shit, okay? It's a fucking movie. Just judge it as a movie, not by the book. But anyways, it's been me, Savini Jason, and this has been my review of Pet Cemetery 2019. And I am out of here. Bye-bye, y'all.